The broadcast is live. This Coach Arnie with the Health, Love, and Life Adventure Show. We are here with the WGSN Going Solo Network, #1 talk TV, radio, and podcast, internet talk network. And we got a great show tonight. We're trying to get it all lined up here. We had a little technical issue, but we're going to get that taken care of because we've got a neat couple. We're going to talk about the Grand Canyon again because there's so many wonderful stories happening at the Grand Canyon. I'm actually heading out for my adventure tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, the adventure begins with 2 new people that have never been to the Grand Canyon and experienced it. So that's always fun, but I've got to worry about making sure things are ready because I want them to have a great, great time. Like this couple will talk to us here in just a minute. And I'd love to talk to you guys. Anybody ever have a question, please don't hesitate to give me. You can email, you can call me, 602-390-9144. Would love to talk to you. So as we're getting things ready to go, tonight we've got Rocky and Lorena. Reyes.
Hi there.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Where are you guys located, Lorena?
We're actually in California near Long Beach.
Oh, okay.
So we're in SoCal, Southern California.
So you got the San Gabriels over there to train on, right?
We do. We have the San Gabriels, absolutely.
Hey,
and we're about 4 hours away from the Sierras. So we don't get out there too often, but definitely in our backyard. We're very lucky.
Have you guys done Whitney?
Yes, actually I have, yes.
How do you compare Whitney to the canyon?
I was just talking about that with a client today, and it doesn't compare.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The Grand Canyon is by far much harder.
Yeah, you had to, when I tried to go in the lottery a couple of years ago, and then last year they opened it up at the beginning of COVID, and a bunch of guys were storming the hill there at Whitney. Then your wonderful governor shut it down again. So I think it's maybe back to a lottery again, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you do a single day hike, I believe that you can go up without a permit on a single day. But if you're trying to do camp, you definitely need a lottery ticket. Yeah.
Oh, so I can just go up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good thing to know. So you said so are you a coach, Lorena?
No. Neither of us are coaches.
No. Well, both of you look very fit. I mean, Rocky's there. He looks like Rocky. Well, heck. Why not? So what? You said clients. What do you do? What do you do, Lorena?
Personally, I'm a financial advisor.
Oh, so you're one of those smart people.
Apparently.
Yeah. And Rocky, what are you doing, Rocky?
I have a small company that we're moving to Baltimore Park right now.
Okay, cool. So we're just gonna have a conversation here because I'm heading up tomorrow. I've actually been running around here getting stuff loaded up, and normally if it was just me going, I've got it pretty dialed in what I need to do, and when I start, I don't really change too much. But I've taken 2 new people up there tomorrow, and thank God. I think it's going to be cooler than when you guys did it, actually. Really? Yeah, because it got hot. It was carnage there last week because it got over 100 at Phantom Ranch, and
wow.
Yeah, and so it's dropped at least a good 10-15 degrees. The clouds just come in here right now in Phoenix right now, just cloud cover. And I don't want it to be cloudy. I really don't, because it's so beautiful there. I want that blue sky, and it's just a matter of you got to look. It's one thing to wish for hot weather, for cool weather. That's nice, but look, it's Arizona. It's May. It is what it is. Deal with it. And but I don't want to go there with cloudy covered because I haven't done my heat training or I'm not fit and prepared. Because that's on me.
Yeah.
That's on me. And I go at night. And when it gets warm, I go at night, and then I finish early in the morning, and that's my summer schedule. So I'll be going again. Well, I was going to be going in at the end of third week of June, but my wife's having surgery, so I'm going to be going the following week. So it sounds like it's going to be the first week. It might be right on my birthday. So we'll start late afternoon.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Yeah, well, not yet. We'll start late afternoon, and then we'll finish with him. He's a little slower, so we're going to walk. So we'll finish mid-morning. Because
Nice.
then I'll get into your training, because the guy that runs the group that you're in, he's the guy that started.
No, we don't know him personally.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's the one that trained me and got me knowledgeable at the canyon. Well, I had a bad experience a few years ago with a guy from Colorado. And then, so we went 3 years ago now, in January. And it was the very first weekend of January. And so we literally walked the whole thing in under 17 something hours or whatever. But we walked it. And to prove to ourselves that if you just set a nice steady pace, you can walk. And we did just like you guys did. You guys went bright angel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you guys choose that route?
Yes.
Yes.
Why? Why did you choose bright angel?
You want to?
Yeah. To be honest with you, we just we figured we could have a steady down on it. Personally, we just had a conversation about it not wanting to be too
not wanting to what?
In the
steepness of South Kaibab?
Yeah.
Because Kaibab was steeper, South Kaibab was
obviously
steeper.
We'd start there at 4 a.m. We also had already done South Kebab 2 years ago. And so we already knew what it. We did that 2 years ago.
Okay, and obviously it
we
allowed
already
you
had
to
experienced it. We seen what it looked like. We had gone down up to the scale, done it in bright daylight, and it was going up. And figured, let's do the other side. Yeah.
Gotcha. So when you did it before, you went
and kind of have a point of reference where we, start.
Right, because leaving the car there at Bright Angel makes it kind of easy to finish.
Without having to add more miles.
Right, but when you did South Kaibab before, you said you went down to Skeleton Point, or did you go down to the river? We're breaking up again. God dog it.
Well, I do want to. Yeah, but what I meant by saying had
hang on, we're breaking up.
No,
again.
Just Skeleton Point.
Just Skeleton Point. Okay.
Went Skeleton Point.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I've been doing lately on my. What I've been doing lately on my solos is I've been going up and down South Kaibab just to. I want to master South Kaibab because it is relentless. It's relentless. It's just relentless on the climb up. Right. But the last from Indian Gardens to the top on Bright Angel is pretty tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's no joke.
It's no joke.
No, it's no joke.
It definitely is one of the most humbling experiences. The most humbling experience for me, for sure.
It was tough,
especially when your legs feel like that, right? Okay,
absolutely.
So obviously you guys are a couple that does fun things together like this. Well, we consider it fun anyways. Most people think we're crazy.
Yeah.
How have you always been endurance athletes when you met each other, or is this something you got into? How did you guys get into all this?
Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. So when we first met, we weren't endurance athletes. However, we were both into adventuring outdoors. So we were into backpacking, we were into hiking individually. So when we got together, that just blew up. Then we're like, let's not each other. Let's go do this adventure. Let's go do that adventure. And then We've always kind of been ambitious and wanted to charge up mountains quite as fast as we can, and then seeing other people run around got us inspired. Let's say we're curious, so we just started trying it, and eventually we were running. And we were running around the mountains and running the trails, and we fell in love with it. We have met several people throughout our time, time being together, and that were in the community, in the running community, and they helped us along. And meeting these other people inspired us to do it ourselves. And so now our adventures are mostly running adventures.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you guys done San Jacinto?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I did.
Did you go all the way up and all the way down, or just to the tram?
I did Cactus to Clouds from the bottom. So you basically just summit to San Jacinto and then come down. And I came back down from the tram. So just basically C to C, not C to C to C.
Okay, yeah.
Some people do that, and that's crazy.
Yeah, I've done it twice. The first time I did it, it's. I wish I could practice more on that trail, but the first time I did it, after 3 years ago maybe, I got lost right at the beginning, right on the museum trail. Oh, I got lost. It was horrible. I almost quit right there. Oh, it was horrible. So
what time did you start?
Midnight.
Okay.
I started at midnight. So and so once I figured that out, I got going, and then I got lost near the top, right where you go into what's that notch? Grub Notch. I missed. I turned left a little too soon because it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I turned left, and I should have stayed flat. And I'm like climbing on a sheer cliff, and I'm going, this is effing nuts. I started cramping. I was freaking out, and I just kept looking up. I could see the ranger station light. I go, I just got to get there somehow. And I just kept kind of leapfrogging from rocks to logs. And finally I came over the top.
Yeah.
And I went, holy crap, that was insane. And then I went up, and then I came back. I went up, came back down, and I went to the ranger station right there where you sign in and all that. Mm-hmm. And the guy's sitting there, and I go, can I ask you a question? And he looks at me, turns around. He's a big dude. He turns around, he goes, I know what you're going to say. I go, I know, but I need to know where Grubs Notch is. And he goes, I don't want you to do this. I said, I know, but I'm going to do it anyways. Because he knew I was going to run down. So So he told me where Grubs Notch was. It was the most glorious run of my life.
Aww.
No, I'm serious. It was a Saturday, and I was the only one going down. It was getting hot. I mean, so many people start so late; they're crazy. And so I'm just,
I know.
You know, it's a narrow trail. It's overgrown. It sucks, right? And I had so much fun running down that thing, and then my sister was waiting for me at the bottom. And I remember I was just in heaven. It was just the greatest thing in the world. And the next year I went back. The next year I went back, and it was a nightmare. This time I made it up, but my GPS went out on me. I got lost at the top. I took wrong. It was snow. I waited till June because of the snow. And Nightmare City. This is where I met so many cool people, though, because of this. I met a really bunch of cool dudes that we've done a lot of things together since. But that thing has my number, but I'll be back to go get it. But that's a fun one. But you guys got a lot of neat mountains around there to train on, right?
Yeah, we do. We have the San Gabriels. We have obviously, like I mentioned, the Sierras. And at any point in time, if we decided to take a road trip, we'll go out to Utah, out to Arizona, and explore out there. And I did want to add to a little bit of the question that Rocky answered about our adventures as partners. One of the things that was really cool in the beginning stages of our running times was running out in Bryce and in Sedona. Was it Sedona or Bryce and Zion? We went out there. We actually took a team to do Ragnar, and we took a team of 8 people. And we were the captains and got together a group of people that we recruited from Instagram, other fellow runners that we figured, could, do this with us and could be competitive as well. So we decided to go. We had a blast. Our team did really well. And after that, we decided to continue on a road trip. And when I thought that we were going to hike several parks, Rocky decides to tell me that we're going to run it. And this is at least 3 years ago, before now, obviously. I'm going, well, we're on vacation. He says, no, he's going to be able to see more and do more and get miles in. So this is what our vacations and our outings are going to begin to look like.
I absolutely love it. I mean, this is so much because I do a lot of relationship work. I do a lot of relationship work, guys. And one of the, you can have opposite personalities because a lot of times opposites attract. So some people are very direct. Some people are very, they're different. You're just different. But if you have similar interests,
it's the plus.
That's the key.
Yeah.
It really. So how long have you guys been
married? That was a turning point. We're actually not really married, but that's a good question. But we've been together for nearly 7 years, so we're
cool.
Up there.
Good for you. But you have so much. Look at the neat. Look, Rocky knows this too. You know how many guys are out there looking for someone like Lorena that would be willing to be involved in some of this craziness?
All of them.
All of them.
They're all of them.
All of them. I mean, I limit my time.
But no,
guys.
No,
it's because look, I looked at it this way many years ago. I said, I could either be out playing golf for 6 hours on a Saturday and then end up with the guys drinking, beer at the club there, or I could go out hiking and running for 5 and 6 hours or longer, and then be home early enough to spend the rest of the day with my wife, which is what I do, And so I'm usually gone till noon, 1 o'clock, and then the rest of the day is for her. But when we were doing racing, she used to push my son in a racing wheelchair, and a lot of times when I was just getting going, because I was just getting going, and I would go for my workout, maybe 2 or 3 hour workout. Then I'd come home and we go for a 2, 3 or longer hour walk. And it was fun because we were doing it together, like you guys are doing. And we're spending the majority of the day together. And that's really cool. And because we had a similar interest. And I think that's huge for what you guys are doing. Because you never feel like, oh, wow, I'm struggling to get my workouts in because I have to spend time with my wife. You're spending time with your wife,
right?
Exactly.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Or your girlfriend.
It's all together. It's all in one.
Yeah.
It's
I love it.
Package. It really is a blessing. You're absolutely right.
You guys need to write a book.
We push each other. So, last year, actually in 2019, we actually ran our first 50 miler after having done 4 50Ks. So we actually did do a book of all of the different peaks that we went and the different challenges that we had. And combined, I think we had trained well over 100 miles. And at that point, it was 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Combined, we had done over 1,000 miles in our training. So it was very, very impressive and spectacular, even to us, when we put it together, when we recognized how many miles and how much time together that we had spent in training. It really truly is special. And you go in it with a different feeling because it's not just you, it's something that you're working together. So we're continuously pushing each other, we're continuously checking each other. And we actually just decided that our 100 miler, when we do it, we're going to do it together. And it was after the Grand Canyon. It was after experiencing that kind of moment. Sorry, I get emotional. After experiencing what I know he felt, and I know that he knows what I feel, that we want to be able to experience that together, and I'm really appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Hold that thought, because we're gonna dig down there a little bit. Hold that thought about the 100 miler, and we're gonna take a quick little break here and come right back. Okay, so hold that thought.
Sure. So he's a relationship person.
Sounds like it.
Nice.
Where's our commercial? Wait, it's coming. Hang on a minute. There we go.
We got commercials.
Wow, that's so cool. Now is it time? That looks like Long Beach.
I think it's Florida.
That looks like Long Beach.
It's Florida.
Oh.
I mean, doing good storms. Understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Or keep talking over each other.
Yeah.
Oh, going solo is like sure.
All right, we are back, and I heard your comment about I do work with couples and do relationship stuff, but at the same time I'm an exercise physiologist. That's my background.
Nice.
And so I've worked with
okay, very cool.
Where I learned a lot of this stuff is working with brain and spinal cord injuries for 30 years. So people that were
wow.
People were really messed up and that kind of stuff, and so we did a lot of what you would hear or called neuro, like stroke, but I did really crazy brain injury stuff and quadriplegics, paraplegics, all that stuff. Yeah, so that's my
goodness.
But for your guys' comment, all I ever did is treat everybody like they were an athlete. So I treated them special, and they responded versus treating somebody like they're a goofball and got an injury. You just treat them special, like a racehorse, and they do well. So let me ask you guys a question, because now, obviously, you both look very fit. You both look very happy, and you're training each other. Are you guys? Do you do your own homework? Do you come up with your own routines? How do you guys structure your program? What do you guys do?
So as far as training is concerned, yes, we do. I do a lot of homework. We both do a lot of homework. We try to figure this thing out, on our own, basically. But we involve ourselves in the community, so we've made a lot of friends, and so we do pick a lot of people's brains out there. And for us, mainly, it's just about jumping in and getting into it, and then learning from our mistakes. So once we learn from our mistakes, then we can go back, kind of like fix that and work on that. But as far as training is concerned, like you said before, we have all these mountains around us, and so we know when we're preparing for, say, a race or an adventure like going to Grand Canyon and doing something epic like that, we try to get into like course specificity, right? So we try to train specifically towards what we're actually going to be competing in or running up against. So that helps. I mean, that kind of guides us along our way. That's what we're going to do next.
So, for example, I think in the 50-miler race that we did up in San Francisco, we were able to find a program that allowed for us to do X amount of miles with so much elevation per week, and just obviously, working towards being ready for that course specific. We were actually going to be doing a race in Alabama Hills before we decided to do the Grand Canyon. So we actually had not really trained specifically for the Grand Canyon, but being that we had a 50-mile race under our belt and we do a lot of elevation training with the San Gabriel's in our backyard, we figured we can do it. We're strong, we've done 50 miles before. We've been on our feet for 18 plus hours. This is going to be doable.
Yeah, I mean, you're both you're both very fit. Yeah. So on average, what do you think you guys average elevation wise? I mean, because I love what you're saying about breaking down. Like you'll get, like, let's say if you had a chance, you could have got the Grand Canyon, you could have broke down the elevation, the 4,800 feet from Bright Angel to the river, and then the 9 miles across, the 2,000 feet of elevation going to Manzanita, and then it's like 3,500 feet or so to the North Rim from Manzanita, blah, blah, blah. And then you guys could start breaking that down and, okay, what do I need to do elevation wise? So on average, how much elevation do you guys do per week on average?
I would say 7,000.
Good for you.
I would say 7.
On a good week, if we do a couple of
that's
peaks
awesome though. But that's really
week,
good.
It would be up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. So let's circle back I'm going to circle back for a second because you said something that I love hearing. This is like we're ready for our first 100. Because when somebody said to me, "Do 100 mile," I thought there were something wrong with them.
Crazy.
Like you have a brain injury. Okay, I know what brain injuries are.
You need therapy.
Yeah, you need therapy. 100 miles. That's crazy. You're talking crazy talk now, right?
Yes.
And I had done the Grand. I had done the Grand Canyon twice already, and I had done a bunch of 50Ks and but it just didn't make any sense. And finally, the guy, and that's the guy that runs the group, he came in and he sat right here in this room where I'm at right now, and he sat down in my chair and he goes, "Look, I think you could do it." I go, and he made it. He broke it down where it made sense because he was going to do it too. And so the one main thing to look for, I don't know what you guys are looking at, is look at a race that you can manage. And I'm going to throw a name at you that that's a very manageable 100, especially for your first 100, the Javelina 100.
Yeah.
It's a manageable 100. Now, when I did it, the first year I did it, it was the hottest day ever. Okay. So it was a mass carnage out there. I mean, it was helicopters coming in, raking people out that mountain. And it was a zoo. But I was so clueless. I didn't know. I mean, I was just out there like a I don't know.
Naivety helps. Yeah.
It was, but all I know is this. I remember I'd gone again, I got off track, and to get off track there is you got to work at it. So I got off track and I got back on track, and some guy right before the fourth loop, he goes, are you going to make it? Cause there's cutoffs, right? And I looked at him like, he's looking at me like, are you going to make it? Like, you're really, you're not going to make it. And I just, in my head, I said, F you, pal. Just get out of my freaking way. Funny, and but then I was death walking. I was death walking and sleepwalking really, and wobbling from side to side. And I remember I saw Benedict, and he was having a great race. I saw him, and he reached out, he grabbed my hand, and we kind of shook hands. Because it's washing machine style, so you reverse your loops every time. And all I know is I snapped to attention. And I said, you know what? You're going to screw this up. You're going to let everybody down, and you're just going to screw it all to hell. And so all I know is I just took off right then and there, and I was going uphill. And it's not really uphill, but it's enough of an uphill. And I just took off running like I was scared. And I didn't stop running for about 10 miles, almost the entire loop. And I got to the final rest stop before you hit to the home area, and I met another good friend who's now a good friend, who was there pacing somebody, and they weren't there, so he just ran with me into the turnarounds area. And at that point, I felt this huge emotional release because I made the cutoff, so I knew all I had to do was finish. So I made and I remember when I got to the top of the final loop, to the very top, it's called Jackass something or another. I just literally sat down and broke down because I was so emotionally it was like, oh my God, I'm doing this. And it took me like 29 hours to do it. Now the next year I did it, I took over 4.5 hours off of that because I knew what I was doing.
Right. Yeah.
But I knew what I was doing. I had a strategy. I had it all dialed in. It was a little cooler, but I had it all dialed in. I did my heat training. I started doing sauna training. I did what you guys do. I broke the race down. I spent time on the course. I learned it. I knew where I learned. I had a whole new strategy. Have you heard of Jamil Curry, who runs Aerovipa? You know Jamil?
No, we do not.
He runs.
Yeah. Well, his brother Nick, who's an incredible athlete as well. He taught me a technique. We call it the walking technique, and I use it at the canyon. I walk the flats, power hike the uphills, and I jog the downhills. And I just stay with
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
So at 90 miles, I was the only one running out there. At 90 miles, everybody else was leaning and all crippled up, and because my hip flexors were fresh. And I remember Benedict was pacing me, and he kept, because we had a plan, and he said, no, hold, don't go yet. Finally, he said, run. And I just took off. And I felt so strong. But we had a plan, so it was totally different than the first time. And I get sure. And when I help people and I coach people too, you don't have to go through the hell that I went through to figure this out. And the fact that you guys are already doing that kind of stuff together, it will help you to avoid those kind of costly mistakes at 100. And that's why the javelina is so simple to manage. It's not simple to do. It actually has a high DNF because people get sucked in.
Really?
Because it's runnable.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a runnable course. People get sucked into that, and they get blown out in the first half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I could see that totally.
Right.
I haven't fully studied that course, but I believe that the elevation gain is less than 10,000 over the 100 miles.
Yeah, it's
right?
like 7,500, 7,800 feet.
Yeah.
Which, wow.
Which, the whole, you say 7,500, it sounds like a lot, but over a course of 100 miles, that's not an intense grade. But I can see what you're saying, that like where people just kind of let loose and just kind of run, because it's easy to run runnable. Those. Oh yeah, very runnable. Kind of gas out yourself out towards the end.
So I knew that, but I spent a lot of time on that. The following year, I said I'm going to get this thing, and I dialed it in. I had a plan. I stuck with it, and it just it's one of those things. It just happens. It's kind of like the only difference between that and like the only thing that see, I have a friend that's going up there tomorrow doing the Grand Canyon. He's celebrating his 50th birthday. And this is what I teach people not to do.
Oh, I've got
a great guy. Yeah. He's a great guy. But he's bound and determined to do it in 16 hours. The canyon doesn't care what your goals are.
No.
Right.
Doesn't care.
No. We learned that.
No, we learned that.
It doesn't care. But so the canyon tomorrow is going to greet this guy with 25-mile to 50-mile winds, possibly.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. And so he's going in there with goals. The only goal should be enjoy yourself, get out of there safely and healthy. And no one cares. Yeah. Unless you're Jim Walmsley, no one cares. No one cares.
What do you do it in like 15 seconds?
No one cares.
Our goal, when we talked about our goal for the rim to rim experience, we originally had 12 hours based on our, what we do,
12 hours moving
based
time.
on what we do, based on, our times and our elevation.
Oh yeah, we all did that. I did that.
And then we said, and then we said, no, actually, realistically, let's do 14 hours. And then the worst case scenario, we thought 16 hours. That was the worst case scenario.
I hear you.
Yeah, we thought we're going to be done by 8 o'clock. We didn't want it to be crazy dark.
We'll get some pizza afterwards. It'll be fun. We'll go dancing.
Yeah.
We finished at 9 o'clock.
No, exactly. Yeah. What you guys did like 17 hours, something like that, right?
Yeah, 17 total. Yeah, our moving time was 14 hours.
Yeah, because I did the same thing. I go, well, I did my first 50 in 11 hours. I didn't know what I was doing. So come on,
there you go.
It's a big deal here, right?
Right, yeah.
And no, it doesn't work that way.
I know real quick what the big deal is.
No,
it doesn't work that way.
It does not. And
no, not at all.
Well, you got to.
And so for weather for us,
things here, right? Yeah. So the biggest thing for you guys is that for everybody is that first downhill, okay, whether it's Bright Angel or South Kayak, you go down 5,000 feet. And if you choose to run that, which you can do if you're really, really fit, but when you get down to Phantom Ranch, you're going to feel weird because those hip flexors now have been worked out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then you think, oh, because I read your report. You said it, so I could run the bottom. It's runnable, right? The box is runnable, isn't it? Sure.
Yeah.
So
let's just,
totally.
So now let's just pile drive those hip flexors even more by running the box.
Yep.
No big deal, because we get to rest while we climb the north rim.
Right. It's all resting.
No big deal. So you get up the north rim, you climb, and you let your quads rest. Get to the top. You jolly around with everybody, stretch out a little bit, get something to eat, and then you're gonna crash down the north rim because this is fun. And then of course, I've been there. And then you get to Manzanita and you go, oh man, now I got about 2,000 feet of a slight downhill, which is incredibly runnable, right?
Right.
Beautiful.
Incredibly runnable.
Beautiful.
So now you're running that sucker, and now you get to Phantom Ranch. You grab your lemonade. I did the same thing that you guys did. I got to the first two times, and I missed that 4 o'clock cutoff. I was so PO'd. I never got that lemonade.
I got lucky.
I know that was crazy when I read that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, most people now get to Phantom Ranch after doing all that, and they look at Bright Angel, and they go, I got 10 miles to go uphill, and they go, I don't feel good.
Right. Yeah, you get inside your head for sure. You definitely get inside your head.
I think we struggled the most in the last 3 miles, because even after Indian Garden, we were kind of like, okay, we could probably finish at 8 o'clock, and that's the worst case scenario for us. But I was sick pretty much throughout the entire day, just a lot nauseous, a lot. I couldn't put a lot of food down. So the last 3 miles was the death
you
of
guys
me, that's for sure.
You guys had 90+ degree temperatures coming through the box, right?
Yeah.
92.
92.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, but that's not even the real temperature. That we're talking about that heat coming off the canyon walls makes it worse, right?
Yeah.
It was
hot, but you know what? In all honesty, to be honest with you, the heat wasn't too effective.
Okay,
for
good.
us.
It wasn't crazy.
Not too bad. I mean, we had the 40-mile-per-hour gusts and all that good stuff. But in all honesty, the box
you guys are
was the
fit.
best
You
part
guys
of
are
our
pretty
day.
fit. You guys. So when you came up Devil's Corkscrew, what did that feel like? Because that had to be about 5 o'clock, 5:30 when you were heading up.
Yes.
So the sun was down, right?
It was coming down. It was coming down on us.
It was coming down, and that's just before we get to Indian Gardens, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So we actually power hiked that area because we had ran from Manzanita through Cottonwood and Ribbon Falls, and then I kept telling him, "Where's Indian Gardens? Where's Indian Gardens?" And we were running.
Other side of the river.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going.
And we were running because it was very runnable, but I just kept saying, "Where's Indian Gardens?" Because I knew that would be the next water stop. And when we went up the that thing that you were talking about, we heard footsteps, and we look back and we see 2 girls running up. Yeah. And we were just in disbelief because they were on the same route with us, doing the same thing we were doing, and I just couldn't believe that they were running up. But that has to be the area in which we personally, I don't know about him, but for sure for me, that's when I hit the wall with my legs. Yeah. That's when I felt like, okay, I don't know that I can run anymore. Whatever it is that I ran, I gave it my best, and I definitely cannot run up like these girls are doing. I just, no matter what I did, I just didn't have it in me anymore. That was definitely the most difficult part for sure. Yeah,
and I think both of you, because you're young enough now, and you're smart enough that seriously, the next couple, each time you do it, I'm being really honest with you. Each time you do it, it gets smaller. It gets smaller. Yeah. I did a training run one time, went down because I really wanted to own Bright Angel, and I literally went up and down the Corkscrew. I don't know how many times, because when I first did, I thought, man, the Devil's Corkscrew, this thing is horrible. It's less than a mile.
Right.
It's less than a mile.
Right.
It's less than a mile. Yeah. I just kept going up and down. Well, this is not even a mile. This is insane. Yeah. So whenever so it's so not intimidating to me anymore.
Right.
And then I did, Jacob's Ladder and all that stuff up and back. And so Bright Angel is, to me, but mentally I've created a mindset of this is no big deal, even though I know it's work.
Sure.
And I have to prepare whoever I'm with that it's work. Now I'm doing the same thing now on South Kaibab, because the difference with South Kaibab, when you're climbing it, it's relentless. You don't get those big breaks. It's just relentless. Right. You just go, and there's no water, so you got to be ready. There's no water, so you got to make sure you're carrying enough water. But I love what you guys are doing. I mean, the whole idea of the fact that is your book out there? Is it something you wrote and published?
No.
It was something for our family.
It was for our family.
Yeah, it's more photo.
But I think at some point, it doesn't have to be a big deal. I think at some point, I would be really cool to, as a coach myself and working with couples, the idea is getting couples like you that have these really cool, not just because I like doing what I'm doing, but it could be anything. It could be golf. I mean, there's movies and books based on this, what you guys are doing. And the fact that you guys can have a really cool, look at that. Wait. See? I love that kind of stuff.
I'm trying to show you. And that's actually, there's Rocky at the finish line. Can you see it? I don't do this because of this.
I can see that. I can see that.
Rocky in the finish line.
That's really cool.
And
so it's mainly a picture book.
Yeah, it's a picture book, but I documented what we were doing and, getting our medals and how we celebrated.
I really think you guys should think about maybe updating that with some real stories in there about, maybe how you met and how you got into endurance stuff and how you've made this kind of a family affair. Your kids, you dedicated the canyon to your kids. I mean, obviously they support you, right?
Yeah,
I told my son-in-law when he first started doing Ironman, because I had gone through all this with half Ironman training for years and years. I just told him, I said, listen, make your family a part of this. Yeah. Make your family a part of this, because if you're having to isolate yourself to train, because I had to, it just makes it really hard. It does.
Yeah.
So this part here is the hardest part. You guys have already anchored really a nice job here, and with your kids, and then you're showing your kids that it's kind of fun, and it's not a grind. It's not something that takes away from the love and the joy of the family. And then they'll like to do it too.
Yeah,
they really will.
We hope so. We hope they do. I mean, all of our kids do small things here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, but look at the model. See, they may not. Maybe they'll be great musicians, but it doesn't matter. But they'll get to see mom and dad who love each other and are doing something fun together, and they'll go, "Well, I want to do something like that too, because that looks like it's fun."
Yeah.
I think so, and I hope so, Arnie. I think so, and I hope so, Arnie. I really do. And that's a big point to our relationship, is showing that when you guys have something in common and you put love inside of it, how much more and how much greater it really can be, and how enjoyable life can be because of it. I mean, it's huge for me. I have three daughters myself, and she has two sons. And so it's super important for us to show what a good relationship is, what a good, happy, loving relationship is to them. I'm glad you made that point. And the sentiment about the book, I really appreciate it.
Honestly, guys, that's why I reached out to you when I was reading your story, and I thought, well, this is cool.
Thank you.
Because as I stated with Rocky earlier, he knows, dude. He knows how many guys are out there. They're looking at him going, man, you freaking scored, dude. No, because it's so important.
Appreciate
to
it.
Have whether it doesn't have to be running; it can be anything. I mean, but some couples do dancing. Some couples do art, hiking,
music, whatever.
It doesn't matter, but it's something like that. Yeah, it could be anything like that, and it's so important to be able to do something like that. Well, listen, guys. I appreciate you. Maybe we'll do this again. Okay. And I'd love to follow your adventures. Make sure you're posting. Are you in any other Facebook groups besides that one?
As far as Facebook groups, we do the Grand Canyon Rim to Rim, and also the Grand Canyon Rim to Rim. But we kind of joined those groups specifically to like prepare ourselves for this adventure. We're far more active on Instagram, and our personal accounts are mine's Rock170, Lorena Loves You. Of course, you can find us on Facebook under the same monikers. But yeah.
Well, I want to follow you and
as much
see
as
what
we
you're
can
doing,
about
and maybe encourage you to put that book out there with some cool stuff in there, because I know that couples, especially in the running world, would love to grab something like that.
I'm really encouraged.
I like that, Arnie.
I'm encouraged by what you're saying, and I'm gonna jump on it because actually we were also considering putting together some sort of book. Even COVID last year, we ran over 2,000 miles each throughout the entire COVID period. Instead of staying home, we decided to go tackle peaks that we had not done, mountains that hardly anybody touches. So we discovered so many beautiful places in our backyard. But more importantly, we grew together physically, emotionally. Our kids seen that. And I can proudly say that my boys, his daughters, decided to start hiking, decided to lose weight, got in shape.
There you go.
When we did the 50 miler, our kids followed us on the they have to punch in your number and they can see where you're at, which mom.
Yeah, the live stream.
So every time, exactly. So they actually sent a text at mile 46, something like, "Hey mom, you have 4 miles to go. Just keep pushing." And so that little bit of message is what drove me to obviously finish strong. So what you said is absolutely true, and that truly is one of the biggest reasons why I know I do it, and I know I'm encouraged to do it even more, because I think that even like as a woman, my family worries about all the hours that I put out on the trails, and I don't think that they would be as supportive if I did it by myself, because they would worry. They wonder, where are you? Where is she gonna fall off the cliff? Is she gonna break an ankle? So to do it with him, I think also super important, because women do envy me too when they see that I have a man that goes out there. Oh, plenty. Believe me, they do. They wish
I know they do. I know they
do. I have a follower that tells me, I'd love to do the rim to rim, but my husband won't go with me. And so I told her, next year we're gonna go more than.
It's interesting. I've seen more single. I interviewed a lady last week, really cool. I mean, she was in her early 30s, a coach, and she soloed up at the same time you guys went, and she flew to Vegas with her dad. She got a car, drove to the South Rim, slept in the freaking market parking lot, jogged over to Bright Angel. No. And then she soloed it by herself, came up South Kaibab, and because she didn't know. I go, yeah, you just like a little kid. It's like, I'll just go up South Kaibab because it's shorter. And, it's like, whatever.
Just go for it.
But again, all by yourself from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Just showed up and did it.
It's an incredible thing to do. Before we met, we were doing our solo things. I was running marathons. He had done some Ragnars. So we were definitely already hyped up and ready to be physical. But when we met and we, got in a relationship and figured that these were our passions and we wanted to be fit and healthy and active and have all these adventures, it just made the most sense that, we were both into it. So there was no questioning at all about that. So I just say, babe, can we go do rim to rim to rim? And he says yes, and we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, we got to go. You guys are awesome. We could talk all night here, but this is good stuff.
Yes.
Finish that book. I'll hey Rocky, send me a message with your Instagram stuff so I can follow you guys over there, and then but let's stay in contact, okay, guys?
For sure.
Sounds good. Nice meeting you.
Do the book.
We will. Hey, that's a great idea. I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you so much,
guys.
Arnie. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.